Yes. New link is there. उठाओ ना बायो ये check करो. Hello.
Hello,
हाँ आता change करो.
Pinky.
Pinky, I can see there's a new link now for YouTube. Shall I change the slides?
Smita ma'am, can you change the slides?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Are they changing?
Smita ma'am, it's changing. Yeah.
It's changing?
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Pinky. Okay, okay. So, sure. Yeah. 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 Oh. अरे lecture theater में.
Yeah, this is regarding. Regarding? Yes, 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 yes. Can we talk tomorrow? I'm in a meeting right now. Maybe I'll call you back on this number. Yeah? Okay. Thanks. Yeah. Maybe we can start admitting the participants and drop a message that we will start at sharp 5.
Yeah, sure. Smita ma'am, just one request. If you can make me the host.
Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Niruta, you are the host now. You can make me the co-host.
Then the pop-ups will become while
No need then, don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. But will I be able to change the screens? Share
Yes.
screen
Yes,
sharing?
yes.
Thanks. Yeah. Good evening, everyone. We'll start in another 5 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I know.
So, Dr. Chinmule, Dr. Sanjay Singh from Genova has just joined.
Allowed, so I can.
Good evening, everyone, to all the offline and online participants. We'll just start in 2 minutes. Niruta, am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Okay, let's start.
Yeah, please. Yes.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. Yeah. Good evening, everyone. I'm Dr. Smita Kare, advisor to bioincubation team at Venture Center, and I'm director at Senova Scale Technologies Private Limited. I welcome all of you today for this BioPune seminar series, Public Health Impact via Biotech, Felicitation of Leaders at Venture Center Pune, on behalf of Venture Center team and the Able India team. Today, we are privileged to have with us today distinguished personalities from the biotech innovation ecosystem of Pune, and we are looking forward to hear them out and meet and greet them. So first, I would like to invite Dr. Chirmule, who was former head R&D at Biocon. Now he is heading Symphony Tech as director. He has previously worked at Amgen and Merck Vaccines. He has worked on clinical development of vaccines and biopharmaceuticals, and he's a famous personality in biotech innovation ecosystem. He's a TEDx speaker, author, and a musician. So I welcome you to kindly tell our audience more about this program.
So thank you for the kind introduction. First, thank you, Premnath and Smita and all the Venture Center team here to create this infrastructure to bring all of us together in this area of biotechnology. And I speak to a lot of students around India from small universities to the IITs. And one common theme that most of the students ask is, where are the jobs? So what happens is in the IT sector, when a graduate student or an undergrad student they pass out, there's 100% placement, and some big software company will hire 5,000 students at a time, right? For example, they hire a large number of people, and the undergrad and master's students or even PhD students, when they graduate out of these schools, they say, we've come to a recruitment. There are like 100 students in the class, and we're going to choose one. So I think people are getting this, and even parents of these children are asking me, is biotechnology really that big? Is it really, is it really something, or is it just hype? And I don't need to tell this audience that it is not hype. It is something revolutionary. The way we treat medicine with the way we create medicines today is just revolutionary. And I tell this to a lot of young people. And I'm going to take a second, and then I'll hand it over. When you finish your PhD, you're around 30 years old, let's say, for example, right? And then people will ask us, and we need a job, and what am I going to do? And they find a job. Maybe I'm overqualified. Then finally, they have to think about how to get the job. I said, don't worry about the job. Just start your own company. That's the best thing to do, because it's the entrepreneurial spirit in biotechnology today is just revolutionary. I think it's so palpable now. We can feel it in institutions like this. And Able, of course, is doing such a fantastic job in terms of promoting all of that, including the Department of Biotechnology. So start your own company. But then they'll say, no, I don't know how to do it, and what training do I need? We've never been taught how to become an entrepreneur, etc., etc. I said, don't worry about. Spend 2 years figuring out how to do it. Right? Fail, doesn't matter. Fail. Even if you fail in 2 to 5 years, the amount of learning that you will have during the failure far exceeds any manager role you will get in any company. So I think that learning is phenomenal. And the other thing I say is that Hindi mein bolunga ki tum 30 saal, you have to work for another 30, 40 years. You're 30. By the time the 30 years old are going to retire, they're going to be 70. The retirement age is probably going to be 70. So you have to work for 40 years, right? I'm 63. And I'm figuring out what to do in my own career. You're looking for a job. So I'm looking for a job, because medicine has become so good that unless for some freaky reason I die from now to 70 years of age, if I survive till 70, which I'm trying my best to do by being healthy, you will have to kill me after 70, because I will not die after 70. Because all my risk factors would have been gone, and then I have to just keep healthy. Until 90, I'll be doing something or the other. So what am I going to do for 30 years? I have to do something for 30 years. And backtracking to the student, they have to work for 60 years. So don't worry about the next 2 years. Do something fantastic. And I think it's extremely exciting times where where IT and BT are coming together, and no better place to be than in these epicenters of innovation. So with that, welcome all of you here. Smita has already told you about some of the things that the Venture Center does to attract, and Pune is such a beautiful place to do all of this. So welcome here, and we look forward to hearing from everyone today. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for helping us organize this program, Dr. Shirmale. Yeah. Venture Center hosts the West Zone chapter of Able India. Able is Association of Biotech-led Enterprises. And we have with us Mr. Suresh Narayanan, COO of Able India. I'll briefly introduce you, sir, and then I request you to kindly take over. So Mr. Suresh represents the interests of 400-strong membership that has contributed to the emergence of a $94 billion bioeconomy in India. Able runs pioneering programs for students and industry. Able also produces the annual India Bioeconomy Report and India Biotech Startups Dashboard. He has a rich experience as an editor for well-known biotech media platforms. He started BioSpectrum for cyber media and has played a key role in catalyzing the growth of this much talked about industry in India and Asia Pacific. With that short introduction, I welcome you, and let me share your screen.
I think he should use the mic.
Yeah, please. I just have to share it.
When it comes up, good evening. Really nice to be back here at Venture Center. So we did the right thing by enrolling or partnering with Venture Center as our Western region. So I think we've been having regular activities.
Okay. Yeah, please continue. I'll do it.
So mic on.
Yeah.
Engineer spotted the. So, ABLE, it is the Association of Biotech Enterprises. It was found 21 years back in 2003 when there are hardly some 30, 40 companies. There were companies like Serum Institute or Biocon and few others, and of course, Lupin and others may not have got into biotech at that time. So, and NASCOM was the big thing, it's already making waves, and ABLE was founded by Kiran Mazumdar Shah, Vijay Chandru, Varaprasad Reddy, and Villu Patel to be a similar organization. That's how we found it. And from there, the purpose is to ensure an orderly growth of the industry, getting the regulatory hurdles crossed and all the policy initiatives and various other things. What you have seen in 20 years, ABLE has played a key role, including we wrote the paper for setting up BIRAC or the precursor to BIRAP, and we ran the program for 2 years before it became a Section 8 company and things like that. At that time, there was a need felt for support startup ecosystem and a formal arrangement scheme. You need to speak on the screen a little bit. So from 50 companies, and today there are at least 600 plus biotech companies. The biotech means medium and large enterprises, and more than 100 or 200 bio-incubators. Bio alone has set up 75. Almost every tech institution today has an incubator or some form of incubation facility available, and then the space, all that. More important, I think the government, the COVID gave the impetus to invest more in biological manufacturing. The government has set a target, which should be at least 100 billion we should generate from biological manufacturing. And since last year, since Dr. Rajesh Gokhale has taken it up on a mission mode to get a policy or guidelines in place. Even 3 days back, we had the last of the meetings to, under the Biofoundry initiative, where there will be greenfield augmenting existing facilities and brownfields and and soon the final call, and then the details will be announced. So the government is very keen to, on a very, very liberal scale, 75% grant support to some of the facilities on identified areas, and that's what we planned. And so it's a major initiative will come from very soon. And ABLE is part of from the time it was conceived. And so just since it was mentioned that ABLE, from 2012, we started talking about not just biotech, the bioeconomy, the larger impact of what biotech products play. And then when we first did the report in 2016, as you can see, it is 35 billion. And we just released the latest report December last month at Global Bio India. There the numbers are 137 billion. That is for the end of calendar 2022. And then we are just doing the numbers for calendar 2023. We expect or estimate that this will cross 150 billion, which was the target set for 2025. So that's where we stand, very fast. And then significantly, and then states also very, very, contributing number. Maharashtra continues number one. And so what has happened in the last couple of years is that the industrial segment, where Praj and others with biofuels and enzymes getting used in a whole lot of industries, bioindustrial has overtaken biopharma as the leading contributor to the bioeconomy. It's almost close to 60 billion, and then the biopharma is about 52 billion. So I would like to take this opportunity because since many of you are here, and ABLE sets up an India pavilion at the Bio Convention in US. It's the world's largest convention here. There are some 70, 80 companies attend, and so about 25,000 people attend. And our company, India, has been participating, even when it's a small industry, at from 2002 onwards, earlier under CIA, and after that now Able has been running it. And so this year it's in San Diego. This is it will be a great platform for small and medium enterprises, particularly because all the big companies are already present. Like I know Enzene to Syngene, all the CRO, they all there is a big CRO pavilion. Other companies come through India Pavilion. I will talk to you separately also. So it's a great opportunity because companies like even startups like Pandorum to many others regularly been participating last 5-6 years, and every time they come back with a few $1 million in their kitty because there's a lot of interest in engaging with Indian companies, and so and there is a big so we expect about 100 plus strong Indian delegation will be there, and then this time also we are doing it. And then we organize many India-related sessions also at the main conference. More than that, this time we have taken it and right at the entrance. San Diego is a big convention, and since it's a very prominent location. More than that, what we have done this time is we have got it registered, included in the one of the international events supported by the Ministry of Small and Medium Enterprises. So then any small and medium enterprises which are participating through at the India Pavilion will get almost 45-50% of the cost travel as well as the space reimbursed. So after that, so it's and we have designed it in such a way that it's very affordable for anyone. We would we can share more detail. It's an opportunity to come and even look at engage and not just with the US market, because most of the big business development officers of all the companies come there. More than that, even other markets, the pavilions next to us are Brazil, Argentina, and many other Latin American, the European, Asian, and I think it's a great opportunity to showcase or even interact through India Pavilion. You can talk to a whole lot of other meetings are set up, very, very robust platform, which you use at Global Bio India is in action. And so there are a lot of meetings, and you'll expand the scope of your offerings, and you may find wider markets also. We'll share more details with Venture Center and others. We'll share it, but we'll like you to look at it. Otherwise, everything is taken care of. You have to just give the graphical designs to us, and we will set up everything. You have to just walk in only to the facility. So and there are we have, even for visa and other things, we have been in touch with the US embassy. So even last year at the height of it, we managed to get visa for a lot of people at that time in a very short notice. So they encourage this. So more than that, I will reiterate that Able is very happy to partner with Venture Center, and we would like to have many more such activity. We continue to have in the last 18 months since we signed the agreement. We have been coming here regularly. Always Able is here to support the industry. That is the whole idea of So, and as we see from interactions with the government, there is of course government systems are different, but we are pushing it, and we are getting many things. And biological manufacturing guidelines will be one of the big things to come very soon, and apart from many other things. So thank you all for the opportunity. I think we'll interact.
Thank you, Suresh sir, and the Able team. I'll next give all of you a brief overview of Venture Center. So let me just put up my slides.
Stop share.
Yeah. Are my slides visible online?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
Very nice.
Thanks. Sure. Yeah. Once again, welcome to Venture Center. We are one of India's leading inventive enterprises incubator. We are registered as a Section 8 not-for-profit. Yeah, welcome, please. So Dr. Himanshu Gadkar is here. Please wait for a second. Hello. Yeah, I was just giving a brief overview of Venture Center. So we are registered as Section 8 not-for-profit company hosted by CSIR NCL, and we are approved by DST and DBT. So these are a few accolades which we have won on national and international platform for our groundbreaking work in the innovation ecosystem. The recent ones here, you can see we were ranked the #1 bioincubator by Biospectrum India, and we received the Best Incubator for Nurturing IP awards. We are supporting all inventive enterprises, and that's why this could happen in 2022. So our mission at Venture Center is to nucleate and nurture world-leading inventive ventures emerging out of India that solve the globe's most pressing problems with science and technology-led interventions. Our focus area is inventive enterprises, spin-offs from R&D institutions, and we are sector agnostic and supporting all these areas. Proud to showcase this slide where these are some of the technologies from Venture Center startups which are either first in India or first in world. Just to name a few, since the audience is from biopharma, OmniBRX, which has disposable bioreactors for biopharma, which were used during COVID period for vaccine production. And MyLab, I think, needs no introduction. Everyone has used their kit during the COVID period. So that's Tarana Wireless, one of our soft landing companies at Venture Center, which is a unicorn. And they did their software development work at Venture Center. And these are some other companies which have been supported through our soft landing program at Venture Center. Few fact files, we are now 18 years old, so have rich experience in supporting innovators. We have supported 750 plus startups through our different programs. 170 plus have actually worked at Venture Center as resident incubatees. 11 spin-offs have been held through Venture Center. We have a very highly engaged community of mentors, and these kind of events actually provide us platform to connect with more mentors and peers. So more about our special strengths in the next slides. So this is the overall impact which we have created along with our startups. We are very inclusive. We are the economic impact, that is a risk capital which has been mobilized and the revenue generated in last 8 years. So as Venture Center, our USP is high touch mentoring to science and technology focused early stage startups. By early stage, we mean startups who are at idea, proof of concept or prototype stage. As I mentioned, we are supporting inventive products. So more than 140 unique families of patents have been filed by Venture Center startups. So we are here to provide comprehensive support to promote early stage ideas, startups, and entrepreneurs through our diverse and impactful ecosystem. And that's the complete innovation ecosystem which we have at Venture Center. So our USP, as I mentioned, mentoring, which happens both offline, online, different funding opportunities which we host, right from fellowships to POC, prototype, seed funds, CSR funds, dedicated lab facilities, as well as shared lab facilities and office spaces. Then we have a very good library downstairs here and a funding database, which is online. We also have partnerships for further trial, manufacturing, designing, and other services. So plug and play labs, these are ready to use shared labs, which have basic chemistry, biology, and analytical equipment which can be used. We have a very well-equipped prototyping tinkering lab, which has all 3D printers, laser scanner, cutter, and everything. For testing and analysis, we have a whole suite of different labs, which are well equipped with all the spectroscopy, chromatography, thermal analysis equipment. And CVA team has already put up a booth outside, and the lab is just next door here. So we'll be happy to give you a tour after the event. We have a separate regulatory team to help our startups understand the regulatory pathway for their innovations, and technology transfer office and the IP team, which helps technology seekers and providers to connect and file the IPs. These are the different national programs which we are running along with DST and DBT at Venture Center. So I just mentioned CBA, Center for Biopharma Analysis, and since the audience is from biopharma background, I'll quickly give you an overview of CBA also. So we started in 2019. We are an open access one-stop destination as we have all the equipment which are required for structural and functional characterization of biomolecules. We are GLP compliant and we have applied for the GLP certification, which is awaited. We also provide hand-holding and advisory support to biopharma researchers, and we are doing this with the support of National Biopharma Mission, Government of India. So you can see here that all these things are possible, right from structural characterization, primary, secondary, tertiary, quaternary, structural as well as functional bioassays. And we have all these equipment with us, Orbitrap, HRMS, UPLC, and all other equipment which are required for characterization. So this is a quick snapshot of Incubity who are there on the campus. Most of them are into healthcare, and then we have people in engineering, sustainability, agro, and others. So these are the broad domains which are supported at Venture Center. Ecosystem partners are service providers. And here you see the logos of different companies who are there with us. So proud to tell you that we are here at Pune, but we have been able to reach to 22 states and innovators over there through our different programs. And in Pune itself, the startups who have graduated from Venture Center, you can find them at 80 plus of those startups are there at different industrial areas of Pune. So that's a very proud feeling for Venture Center. This is the board of directors where we have representation from academia, industry, government, and investors themselves and entrepreneurs also. These are our supporting partners from government. These are our supporting partners from CSR. Few glimpses of our facilities. So that's the tinkering lab. We have an ISO certified MedTech clean room. This is our mass spec lab where we have 2 LCMS, which are QTOF, and 1 Orbitrap we have in CBA. This is Cell Studio where we have confocal microscope, flow cytometer, and other equipment required for in vitro studies. And these are our common lab spaces. This one is a chemistry one. So these are different places at Venture Center. And now I'll move to the next section. Today we will be launching few impact reports of Venture Center programs. So briefly, I'll tell about them now, and at the end, we'll do that launching. So first program here is Social Innovation Immersion Program. So through this program, we have supported almost 21 SIIP fellows. So here what is done is these fellows are selected by Venture Center and BioPune team. Then we provide hand-holding support to them to identify the right problem to solve the grassroots problems of society. And these could be in different themes and areas like maternal health, elderly health, agri-tech. So there have been different themes. And then we do a lot of immersions. We take them to actual sites and they work on the idea, come up with a good solution, and then develop the solution here. So happy to tell you that out of 21, 10 have actually registered their companies. And this is the overall impact the program has created in last few years. Another impact report which will be released today is by TechX, that's Technology Transfer Office of Venture Center. So we are heading the West Hub of TTO. This is again supported by National Biopharma Mission. So this TTO actually connects the technology seekers and technology providers. So they do that by doing technology showcases. So we have done 7 through which 40 pitches have happened, and almost 29 deals have been facilitated. And they also help in IP filing. So for that, even financial support is provided. And then in case you have any innovation, you can talk to them if you're planning to license it out, or if you're even planning to license in any innovation. And the last, my favorite, BIG, as I'm part of it, Biotechnology Ignition Grant, which is a grant in aid by BIRAC DBT, which is a 50 lakhs grant over a period of 18 months, where innovators at idea or POC stage get this grant. This is a very competitive grant, and we have been associated with it since last 8 years. We manage the grant as well as mentor the people who want to apply for this. So we have supported 108 grantees for BIG, which has resulted in 100 plus products being commercialized. And you can see the impact created in form of jobs created. And they have really raised follow-on funding of almost 160 CR plus. And we are very proud to release this BIG program impact report today. So with that, I would stop here, but we all are here. We'll be happy to take you around. We are there on all the social media handles. Do connect with us to get more information about Venture Center. So that's all from my side. So I would now like to invite Dr. Premnath. So the team at Venture Center is very ably led by Dr. Premnath, who heads the NCL Innovation at CSIR NCL and is the founding director of Venture Center. He is a technology developer, innovator, incubation manager himself, and he has co-founded 2 medical implant startups. He's a chemical engineer and an alumnus of MIT in the US, IIT Bombay, distinguished alumnus 2022, and has been a Chevening Technology Enterprise Scholar from Cambridge, UK. So I request you to kindly give your welcome remarks. I'll put back the first
No, it's okay. This can remain. I hope this can be moved down. Okay. First of all, welcome everybody. Welcome to Venture Center. Today is a day for celebrating innovators, so I shouldn't be standing between you and the innovators. So I just wanted to leave you with a few thoughts, and then we can continue with the rest of the program as well. First of all, we are very grateful to be in Pune city. It's actually a city which I think has tremendous potential. One that has been a thought leader in many ways. And being here, we hope that we can contribute to the economy in many ways, in new ways. And the ambition of Venture Center is to actually shape future industries, if possible, for the country, right? And with Pune being a hub of that, cluster. And of course, in the process, we will reach out to many other places as well, but you have to start somewhere, and Pune is where you've decided to do that, right? Actually, these are very interesting times for biotechnology as a whole. And we must keep that in mind, that we are gathering here at times when there is a huge opportunity in front of all of us. I think if you think of the largest problems at hand today, be it health, be it energy, be it environment, be it agriculture, food, right? I don't think you can think of the next generation of solutions without talking about biotechnology, right? So I think ABLE is probably going to be a very important, or the most important industry association for India in the coming years. And I think that should be kept in mind as well. And when we say that, the global potential and impact of it is also tremendous. You must have noticed, of course, during COVID, of course, there's no two ways that, the biotechnology industry was probably the most important industry around. But the talk of the town today is climate action, right? And again, there, a large range of activities are going to come from biotechnology. Because of climate action, there's going to be impact on food, agriculture. There's going to be impact on diseases. And that again, there's going to be a large role that biotechnology is going to play as well. Beyond that, you might have also noticed that if you look at the last few years of Nobel Prizes, right, even the chemistry prizes are dominated by biology and biotechnology, right? And it's not a surprising thing. It is actually reflects the reality of today, right? That's what is, happening today. The whole pharma industry, for example, is transitioning from a, industry dominated by small molecules to large molecules, right? And that you can see in the blockbuster drugs that we are seeing today, in the list of drugs globally that are being sold and the value of those drugs as well. Today, there's a situation where a biomolecule, is such a blockbuster that a country has to think of separating its GDP, reporting its GDP with and without the blockbuster drug. right, which is Denmark. And that is the current, situation that we are talking about today. So there is an immense opportunity out there, and I think India is definitely going to play a very important role in many different ways. One, of course, as somebody who is going to be a supplier for the globe. But I also think that we are at a stage where in the next maybe 30 years, we should see innovators of a different caliber emerging. And that's where I think startup incubators such as us will play a role in shaping those and catalyzing those kind of companies, which will hopefully, create the industries of tomorrow, right? And that's, of course, the passion and the vision and the mission of a venture center. That's what we are trying to do. And part of that journey is celebrating innovators, right? And the heart of everything actually are the people who innovate, the people who are entrepreneurs, who are taking things to market, who are actually putting in all the hard work and sweat to take it to market. And that, I think, there isn't enough being done. We celebrate our celebrities on TV and films and so on and so forth. I think it's time we start celebrating in a bigger way people who are actually taking things, developing new products, taking it to market. So I'm actually very happy today when Dr. Chirmule suggested that we do this event. We immediately lashed onto it and added a few layers to it because we really thought that this is the kind of stuff which should be done on a regular basis by a place like Venture Center. I mean, just to put it in context, I keep telling people that there's a reason why there's a difference in culture and priorities between, say, a typical academic institution and a place like Venture Center, right? We worship different gods and goddesses than than maybe another institution which will worship a different set of gods and goddesses. For us, it's about technology, it's about entrepreneurship, it's about innovation, right? That's what we want to talk about, and those are the kind of people we want to celebrate a lot more about. We don't want to necessarily do the same thing that an academic institution might do, right? So that is very clear, and so I'm very happy and to welcome all of you. All of you are role models for many of our youngsters and many of the people who look forward to what all you're doing, and I'm sure in the coming years they will be inspired continuously by what you're doing and achieve a lot more. So thank you for joining in, and thank you for all the others who have joined in to listen as well. It's actually a pleasure for us to host you here. Do make use of this facility. This is a community organization, Venture Center. It's created and run by all the stakeholders. We don't have a reason to exist if the mission doesn't exist, right? we are not necessarily going to we can't tom our financial numbers or anything else if we don't achieve our main mission, right? Which is to build out tomorrow's industries, right? So thank you very much. I'll leave it to Smita to take it ahead, please.
Yeah. I'll again have to change the slides.
I think you need to.
Yeah.
You can share the screen first.
Sure. Nirita, you can see my screen, right? Yeah.
Yes, we can see.
Okay. So Enzene Biosciences needs no introduction now. 7 biosimilars already in market, and they are gearing up to establish continuous manufacturing operations at New Jersey, USA. The Enzene team is propelled by a passionate, innovative mind, and it's my privilege to introduce the innovator himself here to the audience. So Dr. Himanshu Gadgir, our speaker, he's CEO of Enzene Biosciences Limited. He's a PhD in biochemistry from University of Tennessee Health Science Center and MSc in microbiology from our own Savitribai Phule Pune University. During his tenure, Enzene has evolved from a startup biotech venture into a biopharmaceutical company with a diverse range of verticals and locations specializing in product development and manufacturing services. Before joining Enzene, he served as a senior vice president at Intas Pharmaceuticals Limited. There, he played a vital role in revitalizing the commercial product pipeline by successfully introducing numerous biosimilar products across various global markets. During his time in the US, he led various aspects of process and product development at Amgen, actively participating in achieving regulatory approvals for several groundbreaking sorry, biotech products through processes like IND, BLA, and market authorizations. Early in his career, he embarked at Waters Corporation, where he spearheaded the development of QBD methodologies, pioneering the creation of multi-attribute approaches for biopharmaceutical characterization. With a remarkable portfolio of over 50 publications and patents, he is not only a dedicated scientific leader, but also a passionate innovator. And we are happy to have an innovator at Venture Center today. So over to you.
Thanks, Meeta. That was quite generous. I don't have slides. What I thought I would do is maybe because I'm a Pune boy, so I thought maybe I'll talk a little bit about my Pune story because it feels amazing, to see the great work that Venture Center is doing. So I wanted to maybe go back and relate to that a little bit. So I did my MSc from Pune University. I still like to call it that. I mean, Savitribai Phule is also great, but I relate to Pune. Actually, I relate to it as University of Pune because my mom was a professor there, and this Pashad area is where I grew up. I mean, I used to always be in university when I was in school. I went to Loyola High School, so we used to do cross country, come to NCL, and four poles, and then go back. And my mom was in the university, so I would always come there. Then I went away to the Deccan area for some time. I was in Garware College where I did my BSc and came back to Pune University. So this area, I mean, and then for a year I was in NCL. I don't know if Nidhi sir is here or not, but I was in biochemical engineering department. So that is when I was applying to the US, and at that time I forget the name of the movie, but there was a song Chodai Hum. Oh, really? I was like, okay, I'm leaving. Huh? Matches. So that was the time the movie was released, right? 1997. And I used to wonder, if I have to come back to Pune, would it even be possible or not? And to see the great work that is happening now in Venture Center and the kind of companies you guys have incubated and the success stories that have been built. And there are so many success stories in this room, right? Some big companies, some startup companies which have done very, very well. And to see all of this kind of grow in Pune just gives me it's very special feeling actually to be here. I did not think in 1997 that Pune would be here in terms of biotech. I mean, we used to always think, see, after MSc, the only career option that was there was to become an MR in a pharma company. There really wasn't any much of a career after that. And to see so many options now built up in Pune, I think really makes me feel very good. And I must say that Venture Center also have been, an admirer in a sense, of Venture Center, what you guys have done here. It's incredible. We do have some collaborations here in Venture Center. We do some work also in the characterization labs, So I think to have that in Pune is incredible. So again, about Enzene, I'll talk a little bit. Again, I'm not going to show you slides because sometimes you just get too conditioned by what is there. I mean, these are all marketing. If I were to show you, they would anyways be marketing slides and not of much use because all of the marketing presentations seem to look the same, corporate slide deck. So I thought maybe I'll just tell you a little bit about the story of Enzene. And, I think Enzene's success story is too much of a big kind of I don't know word really. I think we are just doing small things. We're getting started, but I want to talk about a few things which I feel have been important for us and something that we value a lot. One is, I think the most important thing that we try to do in Enzene when we started out was to build culture, right? And somebody will say, okay, what is really culture? I mean, it's very difficult to define culture because, it's so culture is like gardening almost, where you have to continually, it's not like a one-time thing that you set up culture and then you forget about it, right? It's gardening. You have to continually look at your garden, tend to it, look at whatever is not well rotting, clean it. You have to water it. So that it's a continuous process. And I think if you ask me what is the number one thing that I feel good about in terms of Enzene is building that culture. Because you have to essentially you have to define it by your value systems. We have very strong value systems of innovation being the core of it. I mean, that is the soul of what we do. Because when we started out, we thought, okay, what do we want to set up? I mean, okay, biopharmaceutical companies, we make biosimilar, sell them. That's fine, and there's a lot of meaning to that. But beyond that, I think we wanted to say, okay, we want to try to innovate in this space and try to innovate locally, because unless you understand the local needs, sometimes it is difficult to solve local problems. So today, there are problems such as accessibility to medicine. It's been talked about quite a bit. And we said, okay, if we are going to be a company based in India, we want to try to solve that. Before us, I was in a company that did biosimilars before I joined NC. There had been so many companies who were making biosimilars. So for us to come in and say, okay, we have a business model where we are going to make another biosimilar, the fourth one on the market, using the same cell, same technology, same everything that other companies are doing, it really does not add any value. You have a fifth biosimilar on the market, we feel good about a product that is being launched, but it really does not add any value because there are 4 other biosimilars that are ahead of us that are pretty much going to be sell at the same price to the patient, right? So if we had to operate in India, we had to think differently and we had to disrupt the status quo, right? There was no point in copying, the great companies that were ahead of us and launching another product. So we said, okay, how do we disrupt this? So we started looking at various different technologies that were available. And when you look at cost of goods, and I have been in this field for many years. So it started with 1 gram per liter, and now, it's like the telephone, 1G, 2G, 3G, now 5G. it's amazing how synchronous antibody titers are with telephone signals, right? 1G, 2G, 3G, 4G, 5G.
Is there a mood
But it is really not the titers that impact the cost of goods. When you are starting out, it is your depreciation, it is the investment that goes into manufacturing plants and how it gets loaded onto the product, right? So for us, we said, okay, we are going to give us a target that we are going to build this plant at a much lesser price than conventional plants and still be able to manufacture enough material. And the only way to do that was to have a smaller footprint. And when you look at a manufacturing plant, most of the footprint is governed by your whole tanks. Because in a fed batch process, after every unit of you hold, there's a whole tank. You hold, there's a whole tank. So we said, okay, if you have a straight through process, then all of that goes away. And then we can, sometimes you would be foolish also and say, okay, this is my role. So that is what we did. Okay, can we remove all the whole tanks, make a continuous process? Everybody was talking about it at that time. Amgen had a continuous manufacturing plant in Singapore, XYZ. So we said, okay, it must be easy to just get this from somewhere and install it. It was not. I mean, we ended up doing a lot of this ourselves. We have a lot of patents, and now we have multiple products that are launched using the continuous manufacturing, right? And so it goes back to our culture really of innovation, and we want to continue to do that and solve problems. I mean, we want to be a company that solves problems, and along the way, really, I mean, somebody, Dr. Smita was saying, I'm the innovator. Really, truly, if there's any contribution that I have, probably is to be part of this team. We have a fantastically passionate team that wants to continue to do that. We've been able to make a difference. Like there's one product, it was not manufactured with continuous manufacturing. It's a product called teriparatide, but we use the same principles. And we were the 7th product on the market, probably 8th. There were 7 other manufacturers ahead of us. And today we probably have captured around 50% of the market in 2 years for teriparatide because we said, okay, let's make this very, very cost effective and then bring a pen device that is differentiating for the patients of India, right? Where we are not borrowing an insulin pen device for giving teriparatide, but making a pen device that is specific for teriparatide and still be able to provide it at a cost that is a lot lower than what is available. And so those are the kind of things that really give us a lot of joy in Enzene, right? And once we had this commercial platform for continuous manufacturing, we started getting a lot of interest from companies who wanted to access it. So there was one company who had this extremely difficult molecule which had issues during expression. So it had like proteolytic sites and it started chopping off in feedback. So one of the other things that I've realized over so many molecules that I've worked on is anything that is human, and these guys have made Enzel for global markets, a beast, right? Anything that is human engineered is also unstable because it's not gone through millions of years of evolution to make it stable, right? You take 2-3 domains put together, you think, wow, this is a very, very efficient molecule. It is a very efficient molecule, of course, right?
Works.
Huh? When it works. But to make CHO cells make this molecule where it's either going to unfold or it's going to have proteolytic sites in it. So there was this company who had these multi-domain or like that they had fused together. And in feedback, they were seeing a beautiful band on day 5. By day 15, it was completely chopped off. So they said, hey, you guys are doing continuous manufacturing. So intuitively, when you do continuous manufacturing, you're removing the product out from the complex mix, so it should work. So they were manufacturing this in a 200-liter scale in the US, but not getting much material. They came to us 2-liter scale, and we were able to get more material than they were getting in 200-liter scale. So then we did, like for that first molecule, we did entire development plus phase 1 manufacturing. And since then, we've done around 12 such projects, right? So we started getting a lot of interest. So we kind of pivoted from being a product company to a service-oriented company, right? And one of the things that we realized there was while in India, the problem to solve was accessibility and affordability for this medicine. In the US, the problem to solve is access to local manufacturing for smaller companies. Because there are big CDMOs who want to code the big pharma companies, but 90 probably, I mean, nobody knows what happens in China, but outside China, 90% of new molecules right now are happening in the US, hopefully with like venture centers like this cropping up throughout India. I mean, India will also start to gain a significant percentage of that. I'm quite confident that in the next 10 to 15 years, that will start happening. But right now, that's the reality, right? 90% of these assets don't find a local manufacturing partner. And anytime you have to go offshore, there's a challenge. I mean, there's a jet lag. I just came back from the US yesterday. So time difference, cultural difference, supply chain post-COVID was a big thing. And everybody is wanting to do local manufacturing. So we have an innovative platform developed right here in Pune, Amchi Pune. And so now we are going to transplant that in New Jersey, right? The tagline that we have for that is, again, marketing, Pune to Princeton, right? But I think that gives me joy, right? Taking innovation from here and putting it in the US, because after Pune, I went to the US, I was in the US for almost 15 years, where everybody thinks that anything that is innovative only happens in the US. If it is outside US, it must be like something, right? So that gives me a lot of joy too, that, hey, now we are saying, look, we are taking an innovative platform, we are putting it there, and we are going to manufacture it for you using platform that we've developed here, right? So we are setting up something in New Jersey. It will come up very soon. But while we do that, I think one of the things that we want to continue to do is keep on launching products for Indian patients. I think that is something that is very close to us. That is something on which we are built. And we'll continue to evolve this platform and see where it takes us. But really, I think the most important things in Enzene are culture. Second thing is, and I get this question a lot, right? How are you doing against your competitors? I said, there is no competition, right? Nobody competes with anybody, right? You don't want to play that finite game. If our vision is to become the number 1 biotech company from India, then we cannot say, okay, we are like XYZ as compared to the competition. What does that mean? And I'm not saying that from a perspective of arrogance that, oh, nobody can compete, but from a perspective of actually playing an infinite game where you're not going to frame yourself against anybody else, right? I mean, everybody has a role to play. Everybody, there's a, as Sir was saying, biotech has been the past. Nobody realizes that. If you look at, like, again, in Loyola High School, in 10th, we had this career counseling. And somebody said genetic engineering is a huge field. And I was like not very good in school. So everybody was either going to go do their 12th in science, go to COET, BJ Medical College. I'm like, this genetic engineering sounds cool. Nobody else wants to do it, right? But then think about it. Maybe that's what conditioned me, primed me. My mom was in the field, so that was also important. But think about it, right? Taking a protein that is a human protein, expressing it in a bug like E. coli or CHO, and then putting it back. And we're not even talking about gene therapy yet, right? This is like some day I wake up, pinch myself and say, how is this possible? Is this true? And this is what has happened in the last 20, 25 years. So the revolution is real. The contribution that revolution has made is real. Everybody was aware about it during COVID. Everybody has forgotten it because it's already been 2 years since COVID. But regardless of that, I think the revolution is true, right? And there is so much to do in this space that all the great companies that are here have a niche, has a role to play in this and really take this field forward. And we are doing a little bit. And while doing that, we are trying to have fun. We are trying to build a culture. I encourage everybody to visit. And then I think we have a fantastic team. Really, it's an incredible team, extremely passionate folks. The other thing that has worked for us, and that probably is the biggest reason for our success, okay, is what we did. We are very small, and we were even smaller 6 years back, 7 years back when we started. But one of the biggest things that you need to succeed in this space is people. Without that, you cannot succeed. That's the biggest thing. And so for us, we're like, okay, we want to hire people. Why would they come? They'll go to Cyrus, like Lupin is a big company. They'll go to Biopune, they'll go to XYZ, right? Why would they come to Enzene? Now we're getting a lot of talent. So if you look at one of our mission, at that time, in like 6 years back, was to become the most desirable biotech company to work for. Because we had to be that in order to succeed. Okay? And like I said, the most important success for me is the way we hire people. So for the last 5 years, we've gone around India on all different campuses. We go to NIT Suratkal, we go to ICT. Initially, we did that. Now we go to like places in Dehradun. Right? We run this aptitude test. This year, we'll hire around 100 fresh graduates from all over India. Many of them will come from Dehradun and people and places that nobody goes to. These people are hungry. I mean, you should see the talent that exists in India. We bring them, we run a biotech school. It's starting tomorrow actually in Enzene. For the first year, they do rotations in various departments and they get absorbed. And after 2 years, they leave. So people say, oh, they're leaving. That's a great thing. I mean, it's good for them, better career opportunities, right? And now we are seeing a lot of them come back too. So I think that's one of our biggest success. Today, 70% of our employees, we have 1,000 people now, we started with 80. 70% of our employees are ones that we've hired directly from colleges. And to me, that has probably been the biggest success that nobody, and it's intangible, you'll never know, right? And we want to continue to do that and have fun, but really appreciate this recognition. And it's amazing to see something like this happen in Pune, right? I mean, in the last 10, 15 years, Pune has really come up, and that makes me feel good. Thank you.
So much for that great message. Right team which shares the same vision will deliver the right product. Yeah, thank you so much for joining us, sparing your valuable time. Yeah. I'll now go next. Yes, I'll just minimize this. Yes. Yeah. Lupin Limited, a leading global pharma company, has its R&D division at Pune. And today we are honored to have with us Dr. Cyrus Karkaria, who heads the Biotech department at Pune, to tell us more about Lupin's biosimilar success story. So I'll first introduce you. Dr. Cyrus Karkaria, he's the president Biotech Lupin Limited. He's done postdoc from Harvard Medical School, PhD in biochemistry from University of Maryland, and MSc in biochemistry from Mumbai University. He's a visionary leader, has been the president for last 14 years now, from 2010. Currently based at Pune, he has over 30 years of rich industry experience in the field of biopharmaceutical drug development while working with multinational companies based out of US and India. He has always held the strategic vision of making Lupin a global biopharmaceutical powerhouse by setting best-in-class industry benchmarks and global standards of development. Despite being a late entrant to the biosimilar segment, Lupin, over the last 14 years, under his invaluable guidance, has gained significant momentum, thereby leading to streamlining of its vision, enrichment of pipeline products, and strengthening of its globalization strategies. He helped create a strong foundation and devised strong in-house capabilities wire to wire across the drug development value chain. Under his leadership, regulatory and clinical strategies are formulated with a strong focus on harmonization of global regulatory guidelines, and commercialization strategies are designed based on the complex regulatory IP and competitive landscape. He has been instrumental in establishing a global footprint for Lupin Biotech. Before starting the stint at Lupin, he was vice president at Celldex Therapeutics and Curagen Corporation in New Haven, Connecticut, USA, heading the operations and biopharmaceutical process sciences. He has also held positions at Biogen and has been part of teams that have developed blockbusters in the field of neurology, immunology, and oncology. Such background experiences have helped him create his expertise and proficiency in development and commercialization of biologic products. So we are very happy to host you. Welcome. Slides.
So, first of all, I grew up in the other city, not Pune. However,
Yes.
Across the mountain.
yeah, across the Ghats. However, I mean, now it's going to be, I left Mumbai or Bombay when I was 20. So, and now, I mean, I'm 14 running here, so who knows? I might still actually make it to Pune. Anyway, I'm like my friend Himanshu, I'm not an expert or speaker. So I figured I might as well have actual slides. Not that I'm going to go through all of them and all the gory details of it, but we have a very similar story. Except some of our or what's the right direction has been a little different, and we focused on different things altogether. And the rationale behind that was that Lupin's a pretty big company, so is Enzine's parent company, Alchem. They're about the same size anyway. But most of Lupin's business was always in the US, so US was a very key market for us, and we always, right from the beginning, I guess, when they hired me, I mean, the idea was to make sure that we do everything globally. So that's what we're focused on. So actually, we are behind Enzene as far as products are concerned, and I'm envious of that. But what do I do?
Yeah,
Oh.
that will work.
Yeah.
Just click on the
Yes.
points on the screen.
Yes.
Now it should work.
So just in short, Lupin's a big generics company. Has been focusing on generics for a long time. As you very well know, the patent cliff's coming, and they needed to focus on complex products. And one of the big products we have is inhalation platform, which actually is doing quite well. The other is global biosimilars, and now we're going to add a vertical on CDMO, though that's not started as yet. And then long-acting complex generics.
Change it.
Oh, okay. Thanks. So essentially, it was established in 2008, where we had a 400 square feet lab in Lupin Research Park, where I thought about biotech, was before my time. I started in 2010, and that was the time we moved to this facility. This plant was not around then, but we moved here essentially, and over the years we've actually added a lot to it, and we're fully self-contained in the sense we have microbial and mammalian drug substance facilities. We have a drug product line. We also have another drug product facility in Nagpur. And then we have a talent pool of about 650 plus, and growing. Talent pool is very similar. The trajectory here, and the trajectory here essentially shows you where we started. And the facility we occupied was in 2010. Our first joint venture was with Japan. That taught us a lot of things of how to actually develop products. And we consciously chose etanercept. For the simple reason, it's a bugbear of a product. No other Indian company could do it. Naren could tell you all the horror stories about Biopune with it, but we decided as a challenge that we had to do it. And we did it at the end of the day. And we have approval in all major markets except the US because they're blocked in the US. Kind courtesy of Amgen. So
He had nothing to do with it.
So anyway, and then we have some other products coming up. PEG dressing should be up very soon. Ranibizumab, another program which we're just about finishing up globally, and then we have aflibercept as a follow-on, and denosumab as a follow-on globally. So that's pretty much a pipeline. Now, the bottom line with this is that biosimilars is not our only stick, our only business. Bottom line is, my aim is to get at least cost neutral before we actually go into NDAs. Lupin's already embarked on NDs, or I should say NCs, and there's been relative success with that story. So we want to emulate that again. However, right now we don't have a discovery group, and that's where people here would be actually ideal for that. And also, I'm quite excited for a simple reason, just like Himanshu, that we built a local ecosystem here. Pune is perhaps the best city where we could actually have the most talented people, especially from all these other institutes, where we could actually tap that talent and go further with it. And the idea is that that talent should actually stay in Pune. Honestly, it's a much better city to be in than Bombay.
or Bangalore?
Bangalore, I always get stuck in traffic. So unless I bicycle to work, it's not going to work. Which I used to do in Cambridge. It was the same story. Lived about 2 miles away, and if I drove, it would take me an hour. If I rode my bike at a very even clip, I could reach there in 5 minutes. So, what is our value proposition? It's very similar to what Himanshu said. We have a complex biosimilars pipeline, and essentially what we do it only once. We develop a product, and that should stand scrutiny anywhere on the globe. Essentially, that's, and of course, COGS leadership. If you want to sell anything in India, if COGS don't work, it's not going to happen. So, and then differentiators, they are differentiators, IP generation, and then again, we look at also innovative devices where we would be differentiating from the herd, so to say. And then, of course, manufacturing facilities, although all our manufacturing facilities are fed batch. There's a different reason for it anyway. And then cell line development, as we said, I think we should also formulate a law like Moore's law of how far can we go. We haven't reached that far as yet, but some of my compatriots in my previous company have reached 10, and it would be enviable if you could do that, but it's not necessary at least right now. And then, of course, we align our clinical strategies by making sure that when we do global studies, that we comply with every major regulatory geography we're going into. So, and then workforce. Workforce is absolutely important. And in fact, I mean, we've been very fortunate with that we also have a pretty good, very talented workforce. And I think a lot of credit goes to Pune as a city for attracting that workforce. I mean, we do have, I think about 50% of our people are from the South, but they're still very, very comfortable with Pune, which some other cities would actually have some challenges, especially up north, because most of the times they go back and come back. So just put it up. Oh, sure. Okay, that's better. This is just pictures of our facilities, nothing out of the ordinary, and we have a commercial QA/QC operation too going on. Next slide, please. And these are all my friends who inspected us throughout my and trust me, most of them have been quite interesting. I mean, I could write a book on that. Next slide, please. So again, here, I mean, we value IP a lot, and most of the times, I mean, if there is something which needs to be done, we actually almost always make sure that we have the right IP in place. Again, we are very lucky that we can do phase 1 trials internally, just because of our generics heft. We have a unit where we have about 50 beds where we can do our own phase 1 trials. That helps us. My only request from Abel is, Suresh, I mean, can you actually put some advocacy in streamlining our regulatory regime? It would help. I mean, that $50 billion thing could go up to $100 billion if our regulatory regime is streamlined. So that is something I think we definitely need to. I'm sure you're doing it, Abel's doing it, but there's something that should be some emphasis on that. Okay, I mean, and then these are some of our products, as I mentioned. That's it. So.
Thank you so much.
Well, not only that, I mean, they're adding more restrictions on how you manufacture without understanding what is needed.
There's an opportunity also for us.
Yeah, it is. And I think a lot of, I mean, especially our biosimilars will come out in the market much faster if the regulatory regime is streamlined and follows every other geography. I mean, all the other regulatory geographies. We're not asking for anything else.
Okay. Thank you so much for a great overview of Lupin's biotech division and the incredible contribution to biopharma as Lupin. So next up, we have some young innovators and startup leaders with us. So we have Dr. Parul Ganju. She's the CEO there's a mistake, of Ahamune Biosciences. Sorry for that. Yeah. Both are biosciences. You want to So for Parul, I'm not biased, but I have put 2 pics here. So very proud that just at the beginning of this year, she was featured in Business Today, the only women entrepreneur there with all of them. She couldn't make it today because of a last minute plan. She had to travel to Mumbai. But we have Dr. Mahesh Verma from her team, who will be representing Ahamune and telling us more about Ahamune's journey. So I'll quickly tell you about Parul. She is a PhD in skin biology from National Institute of Immunology. She's done her master's in biochemistry from University of Delhi. She deciphered a crucial role of interferons gamma in pigmentation homeostasis during her PhD work, and then revealed altered microbial community structure in vitiligo skin, and that's what Ahamune is working on. Subsequently, she also joined as DST Inspire faculty at CSIR IGIB, and then moved on to pursue her entrepreneurial dream with Ahamune, where she translates her scientific knowledge into applications relevant to the Indian society. So Ahamune will be represented by Dr. Mahesh Verma. He is founding member and currently assistant director of Ahamune. He is a PhD in stem cell biology from NCCS Pune, has 12 plus years of experience in the field of drug discovery, and has successfully led multiple drug discovery programs across various therapeutic areas. So I welcome you. I'll just put up your slides here. Let's welcome him with a round of applause. Niruta, are the slides visible? No. Oh, I'll have to reshare.
Sorry?
I'm resharing the slides.
Okay.
Yeah. Hello. Good evening, everyone. When we started AHEM, right? Many of you might be knowing what is AHEM. So AHEM is mind, immune is immunity. So when we started this thing, this company in 2016, our aim was to make a drug for the vitiligo treatment. Now we have moved from the vitiligo, other than vitiligo or other skin autoimmune disease. But if you want to make a therapy, I generally feel that it is like putting a man to the moon. Many times we try, many times we fail. My earlier experience was there that we make a very good drugs, but it's failed to reach to the mark. So we choose here a niche area like the skin biology. If we take that area, a lot of other problems are solved, like a lot of PK hurdles and a lot of this toxicity related issues are. So when we started the only question was given is that make a drug topically applied for the vitiligo. Now, how you that problem into parts and how you deal with it. We don't have a big team. We are only 3 founding members. One is me and parallel biology and one is in chemistry. And how we can go ahead with that with so much area of work, which are so much of interdisciplinary. So a lot of things we have to learn, a lot of things we have to relearn. And so, like Dr. Premnath said, that we have a different god and goddesses here and there. So for us, we need to worship both the god and goddess. So the biology, the core biology is important. So if you can make a good, identify good molecular target, good molecular pathway, then you know that your chances of success are more. Then if you can get a good molecules, which is not toxic, which is doing its job properly, which is reaching to the target, for us it was not much of an issue because our is a topical treatment. So if it can reach to there, then your lot of hurdles are there. Other than that, we have regulatory issues like all of you talked about. Thankfully, we found the regulators are supportive. We asked them any questions and they replied us that. And we read all the NDCTR 2019 for all the guidelines and all, and found out what are the minimum thing we can. Like when I was in my older company, Advena Center to the Life Sciences, we need to do 20 essays, which are must to do, and we feel that 100 more experiments you can do, which are good to do. You just don't think and go and do. Whereas in a small company, you don't have that luxury. So you have to find out what are the minimal things you need to do. So a lot of reading is required, and a lot of support also we get. Many a time it is like underrated, but we get a lot of support from the venture center. Type of questions they ask during our initial BIG presentations are very, very important. They are very thought provocative. How you think about it. You just don't remain in your area of biology, how you think how the market is going or how you deal with the competition. Unfortunately for us, there was no competition because only steroids or phototherapy are available for this. So finally, we got a molecule which is good, which is non-toxic, which does its job, which protect the melanocytes, which are the skin cell pigmenting cells, and which help these melanocytes to get evade from the immune cells, which are the basic disease pathology. And it is very, very safe in all the toxicity study, stable, all those parameters, what we can say that is there. Then we have a different type of questions, right? If you need to go ahead for the clinical trial, we need to find the person who can make the GMP materials. And we don't find that so many. And we don't find so many people who can even make the formulation at the GMP level. It was a challenge for us. Then the finding to the CRO which can do the clinical trial. I'm happy that you said that you have phase 1 clinical trial unit in healthy volunteer. There are not many in India, and it was difficult for us to find a phase 1 trial who can be done in healthy volunteer. But finally we did. And it is very safe. Right now it is in the phase 2 trials. So our success story, you can say that we are still on the path. If it is goes, if we clear the phase 2 trial, I think we are a much one step ahead. That's all.
There are too many discovery companies, let alone startups in India. So, and plus, they have taken on a problem which is very challenging. This is the first strategy which doesn't do immune modulation. Okay, it's its own new pathway as well. So we wish them all the best. They finished phase 1 successfully. They're on to phase 2, and in the process, along the way, they struggle through many new surprising problems, including finding out new animal models for the disease. So congratulations to.
Thank you, Dr. Verma. I'll now introduce to you Dr. Anuya Nisar, our next speaker. Happy to invite you after that to the dais. So Dr. Anuya Nisar is founder and CEO of Serigen Mediproducts Private Limited. She is a PhD in chemical engineering from IIT Bombay, Mumbai. She's done masters in material science and engineering from University of Delaware, USA. She has prior experience of working as a scientist in the GE Plastics Technology Center. More recently, she was a principal scientist at the Polymer Engineering and Science Department at CSIR NCL. At NCL, she was leading a group performing scientific research in the areas of polymers, biomaterials, medical devices, and tissue engineering. She has successfully led and executed several projects with government agencies such as CSIR, DBT, DST, BIRAC, etc. Her work has resulted in 27 peer-reviewed journal publications and 7 patent families. The company is a winner of several prestigious awards, including the 9th National Award for Technology Innovation in Polymers in Public Healthcare in 1920. She has many awards to her credit, and in interest of time, I will invite her to the dais. If you can please put this up, I'll put up your slides.
Good evening, everyone.
Yeah, share it again. Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. First of all, thanks a lot to the team at Venture Center and ABLE for recognizing the efforts of Serigen in the biotech space. It's absolutely an honor and privilege to be among some of the visionary leaders in the biotech space that we have always looked up to. So unlike like everyone knows what enzyme does, and I'd like to just tell you briefly, and in the interest of the audience, tell you what we do at Serigen. So seri in Latin means silk, anything that is lustrous, shiny, and it is so it's a Latin word for the word silk, and we use this to regenerate tissues. So that's where the company derives the name Serigen. And what I mean by tissue regeneration is basically it is what we develop is a material that can be implanted in a patient's body, helps to repair or regenerate your organs and tissues so that the patient can recover from the illness, disease, or the injury.
You want to use slide 2?
Yeah. Yes, so this is basically our core technology. We do not make molecules. We use a molecule that has evolved and has been perfected by an organism that is silkworm. So silkworm actually spins a cocoon around itself, and this is the same silk that we use in our textile industry. Um, it is a material that even the doctors know, so it has a huge clinical history. The same silk thread, apart from its use in textiles, can also be used to stitch wounds. Johnson and Johnson was the first company to launch a sterile silk suture used in the market way back in 1880s. So it's a material that has a very long history of safe medical use. What changed in the early 90s was an ability to dissolve the silk thread and make a solution out of silk. And this is where we, as academicians and as chemical engineers, got excited about it. What we do at Ceregen is we use the silk solution and convert it into various three-dimensional shapes. So we can make it into microparticles, we can make it into blocks, we can make it into pellets, and we can make it into films, right? We can very precisely control the hardness of the block. We can make it as hard as your bone. We can make it soft like cartilage. We can control porosities from 40% to 90%. We can have different pore sizes. And most importantly, we can tune the rate at which it dissolves in the body. So when you implant something in your body, you want the rate at which it is dissolving to be the rate at which the new tissue is forming. And that is where the success of tissue regeneration lies. And with silk, we can actually tune this from few weeks, that is a month or so, to about close to 2 years. So there's no other natural material platform or even a synthetic platform with a single material by just controlling the crystallinity that you can achieve this range, right? So that makes silk very interesting. Our technology is actually protected by patents. We have a family of 4 patents. 2 of them have already been granted in India, US, Europe, Japan. We've also published this work in several different international peer-reviewed journal publications, right? And because of this versatility of silk that I spoke about, its rate of degradation, the hardness, the mechanical strength, it is a material that can be used in various tissue regeneration applications. It's a platform that is very powerful and versatile. So at Ceregen, we have leveraged this to cater to various products in medtech. Our flagship product is Cerios, which is a material that can be used to fill defects in the bone. So basically, if you have cavity due to an accident or due to an infection or due to bone cancer, an orthopedic surgeon can use this material to fill up the cavity. In compared to all the leading global products, we have shown 2 times better bone repair parameters. We are the world's first company to successfully do a clinical trial to show that Cerios can help in bone repair, still can be used in bone repair. No, we've done a clinical trial where the patients have seen excellent new bone formation, no complaints from surgeons or patients. And we are in the stage of doing the second phase clinical trial, post which we can launch it in the Indian market next year. And just like we're using silk for hard tissue like bone, we can also use it for soft tissue. Here, our first target market is in breast cancer. We have a third product which we've already launched in the Indian market. This is a specialized advanced wound care dressing, which has shown excellent clinical outcomes in diabetic wounds, second-degree burns, bed sores. So non-healing persistent wounds is where we are seeing most benefit. And we're already selling this in Pune, Mumbai, and expanding to southern as well as northern India soon. So this is our vision. We are driven by the mission to invent, manufacture, and sell clinician-trusted products in tissue repair. Our current focus is on silk, but more specifically on natural polymer platforms eventually. To cater to this vision, we have also set up our own manufacturing facility, which is right here in Pune. When we started our journey in Venture Center, it's always a pleasure to come back here and acknowledge where we have come from. We graduated from Venture Center in 2020. This is our facility now, which is certified by Government of India approvals for selling, manufacture, and selling the wound care product. The facility also has a permissions or license to manufacture Cerios, which is an implantable product, but we also continue to use Venture Center clean room facilities for our production as well. And we are also ISO 13485 certified, which is basically a global medical device quality standard. Um, so Serigen is actually led by three of us. Not many of you know Dr. Premnath is also a co-founder of Serigen, and Dr. Swati, who's also here in the audience, is a co-founder with us. And while Premnath and I are mainly chemical engineers by training, we have worked in the space of medical devices. Dr. Premnath has also licensed medical devices in the past to companies like Zimmer, and it's implanted in several patients globally. Swati has the complementary skill sets from life science domain. And as Dr. Himanshu rightly mentioned, it is the team of passionate people who have been committed to taking the product from the lab to the market. So Serigen is actually a spin-off company of CSR National Chemical Laboratory. So it was in a lab at NCL where we started this and translated it into a spin-off company a few years ago. And we've now come to this stage where we are at one product is already in the market and the second one is in advanced stage of clinical trials. Right? As Dr. Chirmule mentioned, in a startup journey, I think for us, there is a new challenge every day and there's a new learning every day. But the journey is extremely enriching and it's been very rewarding in that sense. So we've also been recognized for a lot of international as well as awards. So yeah, that's what it is.
Thank you so much for sharing your journey to market. Yeah. So may I invite you? Can maybe. Mic. Sure. Yeah, Niruta, can you see the screen?
Can see.
Yeah, sure. My pleasure to introduce Dr. Jayant Khandare. He's the CSO of One Cell Diagnostics India Private Limited. He has 2 postdoctoral tenures from USA. He has a PhD in chemical engineering from National Chemical Laboratory, Pune. He has worked extensively on targeted nanopolymeric drug delivery systems for cancer. He has excellent work resulted he has been awarded the prestigious Alexander von Humboldt Experienced Researcher Award, and he has worked in Germany with Professor Reiner at Freie University Berlin, Germany, in the field of macromolecular chemistry. He then established and led the polymer chemistry group at Piramal Life Sciences. He has published more than 40 papers in peer-reviewed journals and has 14 US patents to his credit. He brings to the table an eclectic mix of knowledge in subjects as diverse as pharmaceutics, chemical engineering, polymer chemistry, and cancer biology. So with this short intro, I welcome you. Let me just set up your slides.
Which side I should be? This side or that
this
side?
This side. Camera is here.
Himanshu, Dr. Himanshu side. So great pleasure. Thank you for.
Welcome to
I'm neither, extempore like Dr. Himanshu, neither I'm good at the PowerPoints, but what I can say that I'm a new kid in a town who has never got any awards so far. So thank you for the award.
You got BIG. That's also an award.
That's a lie.
Yeah.
But the award that goes actually today, I returned from Bangalore, one of India's most foremost congress that went in for 2 days, with thousands of Indian oncologists yesterday. And today morning, I thought that I would have a good nap and not actually be woken up by a call from an oncologist. So this oncologist from Hyderabad calls me while I was actually brushing at 9:02, this call. And he said, Jayant, I would like to talk to you. It's a very serious case that actually most of the labs in Bangalore have actually failed to detect this patient. And the mind game starts, why this call, right? The innovation that award is being felicitated for is a service to actually a doctor that goes to the patient. So he says that, this patient is 61 years, male, high-grade dysplastic lesion. Jayant, you did a test. There were actually onco-discovered circulating tumor cells as negative, no cells detected. But what I'm intrigued is that this patient has genomic alterations which are absolutely never been seen. And remember that this patient is BRCA2 negative. What do I do? Variant of allele frequency is very high. And I said, my God, this is a very complex case because journey started with material science, and today spoken of with actually a real case scenario where oncologists want my help because he has an impression or there is an perception that probably Jayant will be able to give an answer. And remember, I am a Rutgers material science chemist, and our experiences, and I think accolades doesn't mean anything if you do not solve, oncologist that you stand yesterday in Fortis Hospital, talks or into podium presentations or even today in the morning. So don't innovate if you really are not ready to take oncologist call. So I'd like to mention a journey of actually, what is that we do it. And this is very important statement that what we do. Assumingly, there are going to be patients and the incidences of cancers are rising, and there are no reasons to stop them. But we feel that actually a gap that what we fulfill is to know that it's most painful if a cancer relapse. And the dogma in oncology, whether we discover biosimilars or not, is that a cancer relapse is actually very, very dangerous if not caught in a time. And how do we do it? So next slide. So we are here, and our journey was incomplete if I would not have walked in NCL for PhD. If I had not actually walked into NCL Venture Center, and as the statement says that where fools do not enter, I mean fools enter where actually the intelligent people trade off. And that's what we tried it. We are fools to actually understand when we walked into the journey, and I think 2019 or so, we got India's first medical device actually validated in this country to detect the cancers. And it took about 8 years for our 2013 to 2019 to bring India's affordable, accessible, sensitive, very, very most accurate technology in the world. Today, I stand here actually 8,000 patients data from India, Bangladesh, Europe, etc. Real world situations where we step forward, we pedal onto the last gear, and we every day challenge doctors stating that their patients are not disease-free. They might be governors, they might be very, very important patients. So there are guidelines-driven therapies. And the most gap is that, the patients are called as a disease-free or they are cured, but our technology circulating tumor cells or cell-free fragment can detect actually whether patient is disease-free or not. And when we challenge that disease-free status based on the guidelines, we dig up and state that the migration of a disease from extravasation to invasion has gone from colorectal cancer to liver cancer. So we are breaking the guidelines. We are actually stepping ahead of actually what the guidelines have been stating. And that's how actually we are finally justifying that yes, we are supposed to have a simple blood test, which is not simple, because this is the most challenging innovation in the field of material science in accounting those rare cells which are actually in a low abundance, one cell in billion, and one circulating tumor cells in a blood exemplifies the worst outcome associated with a lesser progression-free survival and overall survival. Next slide, please. The test that the challenge we took, can we do this in 4.5 hours? Over turnaround time, about 12 days today. $2,600 against $100 today cost. Functional assays which can actually detect the cells, not only with the cytokeratin as an expression, but we could see EGFR, HER2, or programmed with ligand as a functional assay. And no company in the world can do this at $100 and in 4.5 hours. So thanks to Venture Center in delivering that. I think we can have a lot of approaches. Smita, you need to correct maybe 150 papers, okay, today. Most of them now 50 plus impact factor. It doesn't mean anything unless finally you cross these regulatory hurdles when there was no regulatory guidelines in this country. So breaking a glass ceiling, and then only that I think Dr. Cyrus mentioned that can able help him. So today I think accomplishment is to sit with those expertise who have actually done something great. And it gives me a fear that if this regulatory pathway was incomplete, the association of failure as a startup is very, very detrimental. Thanks, we survived it. Next slide, please. So we are first in class, indigenously developed, first technology tool that made available. And today, as I mentioned, we'll be also setting up our lab in February in Sunnyvale. So I'm sure that EBLE conference, what I see ASCO, I'll be there in June. And I'm very glad if they will actually invite me and makes me suitable to, represent India or represent health. It's a simple blood test. You need 1.5 ml, and we can do this in the shortest time. I think as a scientist, you can design materials which has very important capabilities. It can bring physicochemical or biological traits which can capture cells, and you can have all the sorts of licenses. We know that regulatory is important. Quality management systems like 13485, as Dr. Anway mentioned, and it's possible. What's not possible? Next slide, please. This kind of innovations that goes into the next generation. Today, OncoMonitor is a test which is combined with cell-free DNA fragment or tumor DNA fragment, one fragment per 1 ml, which will indicate whether patient's localized tumor has been taken place or not. Assumption of curative intent by surgeons that they are the best surgeon. And I feel very sorry to say that I have met fantastic surgeons and oncologists stating that they are the best on the earth, be it from Hinduja, Jaslo. But when we challenge that the curative intent, especially in breast cancer or colorectal cancer, 70% of patients will come back. And they don't probably know it. So today the tests like OncoMonitor, which is very, very easy available, world's first test which combines cell-free DNA and circulating tumor cells, which can longitudinally monitor patient whether they have localized or they have a metastatic disease. What cost? Around $1,700 to almost $150. Next slide, please. I'll give actually one of an example in lockdowns. One good doctor from Bombay called me. We were on the actually Zoom meeting. 2020 March, the patient from rectal cancer, female, 65 age, had a new adjuvant chemotherapy, very standard lineup of therapies. Surgery is completed, long cycle, and he made a fun by sending this patient blood sample to us, testing actually whether their patient is disease-free. Ideally, all the guidelines actually say that stop now, monitoring this patient because she is completely cured. But for some reason, we found 2 circulating tumor cells as a minimal residence. Now, this is also very dangerous that patients do not want to know that there is a metastatic disease. Doctors do not want to go to that step. We found out actually most often colorectal cancer patients lead to liver lesions. And there is no guideline to take them into the MRI. Fortunately, this patient actually had those 4 lesions. Unfortunately, if this was not detected to circulating tumor cells, in 6 months, this patient would actually succumb. So remember, the patient has an opportunity to survive by a liquid biopsy biomarker. And of course, the patient had to do a selective internal radiation therapy, which cost 10 lakh rupees at Tata Memorial Hospital. So I'm trying to convince here that we can monitor such patients, extend life. That is what is actually more important, whether you know science or not. And I think this is what is our implication, and this is what is actually a game changer that we think is important. Next slide, please. I think I'll close. We have many joint ventures, many important products which cost $5,000 in US. Today they are about 1.1 lakh rupees in the precision oncology era. I think because of a paucity of time, I would not like to cover them. But today the impact, that compelling impact, is that we have just completed 4,000 commercial tests today. And Smita actually made this plan in my office to cut the cake. I had a choice whether to come here or cut that cake. So tomorrow we'll do it. I think 400 doctors and hospitals, they have been using this test. And I think that is very important. And I feel very humble that this has been achieved because of this journey in this space. Next slide and last. I think last month or 2 months, my team, 100+ scientists creating jobs. We don't go to any place to actually hire them. Many of the scientists, they come to us from Kashmir to Kanyakumari to south to east, north to west. And I feel privileged that I'm able to create my own job and many other scientists' jobs. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kandare. And so right time we are rewarding you. You can do the cake cutting tomorrow, but today we have something for you here. Yeah. So that brings us to the end of all the lectures here. Now the time to celebrate. So may I request our team members to be ready, and I request Dr. Premnath, Dr. Chirmule, and Mr. Suresh to please come on the dais for the felicitations. Yeah, I'm just putting up the new one. So is our cameraman ready? Maybe someone can capture some pics in mobile too.
I think we need lights there.
Yeah, I think we need lights first. Yeah.
Well, let me tell you one small incident now that I see these beautiful flags on the side. Last week I had gone to Serum Institute to meet Umesh Shaligram in his office, and he displays it in his office right center stage. I think it was really nice to see that.
Last time we had felicitated all the biopharma and biotech leaders who had done a great job during COVID period, and Genova. So Dr. Sanjay Singh is there with us online, and my lab team and Dr. Shaligram's team, we had felicitated them. Yeah. So let's start. Everyone ready? Yeah. Yes. Trophy, plant, and yeah. I hope I have shared my screen. Yeah. I'll just put this. Yes. Yes. So I first request Dr. Himanshu Gadgir, and I request. And if we can capture this also, because it's him as well as the whole team of Enzyme. So we salute you for your outstanding contribution in the Pune's Biotech Innovation.
Maybe we take a picture of the plant too, right? So, thank you.
Thank you.
Said, if all goes well, one day we'll have a Hall of Fame here.
Yes. No, it will go well.
But as of now, I think we'll have to settle with this. But I'm really proud of all the innovators here who are making
that has a. Do you want to show what's there inside the candid book?
Yeah. Okay, so this is a copy of a recent book called Candid, reflecting the spirit of our entrepreneurs. Yeah, can do and did it. Right. So this is written by a journalist called N. Ramakrishnan. Features 15 stories of entrepreneurs from our venture center ecosystem, who are all science-based entrepreneurs. And of course, there is also a nice calendar out here,
Center for Biopharma Analysis,
which is featuring our biopharma analysis as well. So thank you very much. I'm so happy to have you here as well.
Thank you. I request Dr. Kataria, and I request all of you to kindly felicitate him.
There you go.
Yeah. I'm happy to see both sides. So both Lupin and Enzyme together have been instrumental in launching the cetuximab, an important molecule. Yeah, and we are glad both of you all are here. Thank you. Audience is not clapping. We have an IT stand after this. So yeah, sure. Next, I request Dr. Mahesh Verma to kindly represent
Here you
Dr.
got it
Parul. Yeah, here I've got it. From Ahamune Biosciences Private Limited.
Yep. Of course, all routine for companies like Ahamune.
Yeah.
We do need drug discovery also happening in India, right? And hopefully we'll do that in the biologics area as well.
Yes.
Thank you, Dr. Verma. I request Dr. Anuya Nisar. I request our guest to
Swati,
felicitate. Yeah, Dr. Swati, please join. And Dr. Premnath, which side you want to be?
No, no, please, please. I think here.
Yeah. So Premnath is giving
No, no, I think I just leave
These
it.
are both ends.
There aren't too many tissue engineering companies in India, so it's very it's again a difficult journey. I can tell you that. As you said, you have to navigate the regulators as well, which they are doing it with a lot of courage, right?
Great.
So,
And Dr. Kandare, here you go. Next time, please don't say you have not received an award.
so he's a prolific researcher as well, right? And I think he mixes both religions quite well.
Sure.
He's at NCL and at he's here at Venture Center.
I request Dr. Premnath to kindly felicitate Mr. Suresh and then Dr. Chirmuli. Yeah.
For the next award, next set of awards, Prem will ensure there is a new third hand grafted to carry 3 items.
By the way, while he's here and I have him have his attention, we want able to do more in Pune, right? Not less, right?
Yeah, Maharashtra.
I think all of you can chime in. A round of applause for able to do more.
Yes,
Last time during the COVID event, I made it a point to point out that the largest biotech cluster in India is in the West Zone, right? And the largest biotech company in India is in Pune. The largest industrial biotech company is in Pune. So I think we need to do more.
No, the largest number of startups also, 1,000 in Maharashtra. So registered in Maharashtra.
Yes.
Sure.
So Karnataka's number 2.
So I think we do more here. Dr. Chirmuli, loyalties to Pune or to Bangalore?
I don't know.
Yes.
And I think wherever I am, that is home. Today, my home is NCL. For next year. Thank you so much.
I'm very grateful for his, enthusiasm and support. He makes things move, which is quite important. Otherwise, in all the other things we are doing, sometimes we forget that we need to do this as well.
Yeah. And as Himanshu said, it's all about when can we have the next party, right? So this is a great way to entice everybody to get together and network. So thank you all for coming.
Another occasion we'll have to take the food.
And my friend who helped me, Ravi Khare,
Hi,
is there.
yeah.
We impose ourselves into using, even if you don't ask. So,
We do that.
thank you.
Next
Thank
time.
you.
So may I request all the speakers to join for a group photo? Dr.
Can you-
Manisha
can you
Pune.
just switch to the-
Yeah, and request all our online participants also to switch on their videos, so we can have a group pic with them also, and then we'll switch this off and have one. So thank you once again to all. Yeah. Please.
Gallery.
Yeah. After the group photo.
Gallery.
Yes.
Okay, releasing publication.
Yes. Yeah.
Please do.
So we'll request them. Yeah. So may I request Mugdha to kindly hand over the impact reports for SIIP, BIG, yeah, and TechX to our dignitaries, and request them to kindly.
We request your indulgence in this. These are all our impact reports, which we have done in the last few months. They reflect a lot of the things that the center has been doing in the last 3 years, including COVID. So we get to open some of this. Please, Manisha.
It's okay. Everybody. They will capture everyone.
Social innovation program, the Biotech Ignition grant, and the TechX program as well. Right? So, please come.
So if you can pose with that.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, we hope to now put it out there.
Have we got a good
we
photo?
think it should be opened by innovators and entrepreneurs, and not necessarily only government departments. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
So I think we'll have to. Did you get a picture?
No.
Yeah. Now we need to look at her.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you to all our lovely audience over here and those who have joined us online. Thank you very much to all our speakers for sparing their valuable time and joining us. We'll now, without wasting any time, head towards the exhibition area for the height.
Can I just take 1 minute?
Yeah, please.
On 6th, there is a talk by Dr. Ashley Stevens from Boston. He's actually an expert in tech commercialization. Was a head of tech transfer at the Boston University Medical School, and also the president of the US Association for University Technology Managers. He's going to talk about what's called the triple helix model of innovation that worked in the US. Lessons from that for Pune, and also he has experience in looking at it in developing countries, in Chile and in India, and what doesn't work and what works is something that he's going to talk about. The triple helix refers to basically the government, academia, and industry working together to build clusters like the biopharma cluster that has emerged in the Boston area. It should be an interesting opportunity. And some of you will find it interesting. Join in. It is again able that will be running that event. We're happy to have him here. We don't have too many opportunities like that for having such guests who can speak on such topics which will help us build this cluster as well. So sorry for taking that minute. Thank you very much.
Thank you. A small request to all our participants, that QR code which is at over there just behind Mugdha, that's our feedback form QR code. If you all can please sign up and provide your valuable feedback.
Unless that has been submitted, but today we won't do that.
No, we won't do that. Yeah. Thank you once again. Thank you to our online participants. We'll not now log out. So we were YouTube live also, and I'll share the YouTube live link with all of you.